Hello and welcome to the Plus podcast, coming you from Barcelona, Spain. We're here as part of the Imaginary Barcelona conference, which has brought together a group of people involved in running a series of exhibitions throughout Spain based upon the Imaginary Mathematics exhibition. And the first person we spoke to was Anna Hartskopf, one of the coordinators of Imaginary.
The goal of the Imaginary project is to show that mathematics is beautiful and to enable everybody to experience this beauty of mathematics, because it's not like normally the joy of mathematics comes over understanding. First you've got to understand and then you have fun. This is something that every pupil knows, like I hate maths, but when I understand then it might be fun. This is a very common thing people may say, but here it's the way around. People first see it, like it, and then they play around, and after playing they're developing their own questions, and then they want to understand, and then finally they understand something. And this is like the very basic principle of Imaginary.
So it's a series of beautiful images of mathematical surfaces. Can you tell us a little bit about the images, or perhaps how they're made?
And they are made with the program Surfer, which is a program that calculates the surface to every formula in real time. So you can type in each formula you like, and then it solves the equation and gives back the formula, the form, and then you see it, and you can also manipulate the existing formulas and just play around, like when you have a square and then you make it a cube, and then you can see what happens.
So as part of the exhibition itself, can you try out manipulating the equations?
Yes, we have the program there. It's we're on an interactive whiteboard, so you can kind of really touch it with your fingers. You can touch the whiteboard and play around with it. And the most of the pictures I've done was this program.
So I think one thing I thought is quite interesting is some of the surfaces are incredibly complex and obviously hold very sophistical mathematics, but some of the surfaces really make you conjure up images of the famous one is the lemon. It's a mathematical surface that looks exactly like a lemon. Is that part of the idea, is to select surfaces that reflect both deep mathematics but also ones that maybe conjure up shapes that we're familiar with in everyday life?
Yes, definitely. The ones that are like the lemon or those more artistic, the more artistic pictures, they are made just to show you the beauty of mathematics, and it's on purpose. They have not complicated formulas, because you can see that it's just a little bit you don't understand in this formula. It differs just a little bit, for example, from a parabola, and something beautiful comes out. And on the other hand, we want to show like what's contemporary research, and this is these pictures of the world record surfaces, and they measure the world record of singularities. And this is there are open questions that are explained by these pictures very quickly, and this is of course what we want to show too.
So what's the plan with Imaginary? It started in Germany originally, but it's since spread over the world.
It is a project by the Mathematical Research Institute Oberwolfach, which is one of the most worldwide known mathematical research institutes, and it was founded on the occasion of the German Year of Mathematics in 2008, and it was traveling around Germany, and it was very successful. And very early, people began to copy everything. They copied the whole exhibition, and the thing is that all our pictures are done with the computers, and so they are not unique like normal pictures. Like you can really copy them, and the copy has the same value than the original. There's really nothing in copying it, and so the idea is to copy the exhibition. And so after the classical traveling exhibition, it became a spreading exhibition, because it's copied, and the idea is that everybody can do it by himself, And so school classes do it for their schools, and but even big institutions do it, like the Deutsches Museum in Munich. They have their own imaginary exhibition, which is there now.
I'm here at the Imaginary Barcelona exhibition with one of the organisers, Sebastian Jambot. Can you tell me about what we're looking at?
I am just looking at a few mosaics that are called hydraulic pavements because of the way they were made, and this is what was popular in the houses as an ornament of the floors. They are pretty.
They're very beautiful, and mathematically they are interesting because of the symmetries, I suppose.
That's right. This is why I called it an aperitif of the exhibit, because then we have the interactive blackboard doing mosaics and can do these and many others.
Shall we go and have a look inside?
Yes, let's go.
So we're at the interactive whiteboard at one end of the room.
Yes. And this is an interactive blackboard. You can put the cell just interactively with your finger, and then you can choose a color, for example this one, do you like this one? And then you can take a brush, let's say this one, and then you can just draw, for example this.
And when you draw on one tile, you draw on every tile in the tessellation.
It repeats every tile according to the pattern.
According to the group that you've chosen.
Yes.
So you've got the 17 wallpaper groups there.
These are the 17. You have the series of P1 without symmetries, and possible symmetries. So, for example, what does P1 mean? Remember that P1 was just the pattern you draw repeated.
Yeah.
Now,
As if you're lying tiles.
Yes. Now, if you do the PM, M means mirror, so it's a reflection around the line.
So that's got one line of reflection.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can see it by this thing. Okay.
So you can explore all the different possible two-dimensional symmetries with this.
This is interesting because people knew from long time ago that they could produce 17 symmetry patterns when doing wallpaper designs. This is, for example, in Alhambra, there are the 17 possibilities already.
So all 17 of these types of symmetry are in the Alhambra?
Are in the Alhambra.
Which is from centuries ago?
Well, the Alhambra is from the Middle Ages. Yeah. So. And then, at the end of the 19th century, somebody proved that there are no more.
So this is the other interactive whiteboard we've got?
This has interactivity, directly, finger interactivity, let's say.
It's like magic.
Moving this and changing the colors.
So you're playing with one of the surfaces that's part of the exhibition.
One of the surfaces, you can choose several. Once you have any one of these things, you can play, and this is not it's a little bit more than finger interactivity, it's brain interactivity, which means that you can edit the equation and then replace this by other numbers, and then you have a sudden change in the equation.
Wow.
And this is what yields you creativity, because it somehow entices you into changing the equation and finding out what happens.
So you can explore. I mean, for a start, what's amazing is that you see an incredibly beautiful form, and then you see that there's an equation that created that form. But then you can actually change the equation and then see the result of your... Immediately, that's fantastic. So do you have a favourite surface in the exhibition? Is there one that you think is particularly significant or particularly beautiful?
Not exactly one, because each gallery has its own possibilities. But for example, in the case of record surfaces, I think that one of the best stories is this sextic of Barth. Barth was already a professor in Erlangen, who was not, let me say like this, he was not exactly young. And everybody believed that the maximum number of singularities for 6-degree equations was 64 for a long time. And then he produced one with 65, and he proved that there were no more. And this is this beautiful thing.
It is very beautiful shape.
Very beautiful chef.
So could you try and explain what you mean by degree 3, degree 4?
Now, degree means the number of variables, the maximum number of variables you take in these sub-expressions.
Right.
So, for example, x squared times y is degree 3.
Because you've got 3 variables multiplied together, x
An
and
x,
itself
and
and a
y.
y. Right, yeah.
And in this, another very interesting feature is that people can print the work they have produced here, and then the printing produces 2 copies, one that is supposed to be in this, how do you call this? Blackboard.
A pinboard.
And they are suggested to put a title and saying name and where they come from, and then the other one is to take home. And if they want, they can upload it into the competition, the surfer competition, which will be decided here at the end of June.
So these surfaces that we're looking at, a series of beautiful coloured surfaces, are things that people visiting the exhibition have made themselves.
Yes.
And so what would you've got the competition is closing soon, but what are you going to judge it? What are you looking for in these surfaces?
We are looking into some originality in the mathematics, having seen that they have worked a little bit and that they get the sense of producing something driven by mathematics. Like this thing, you see the symmetry here, you see. This guy at least has seen something in the mathematics.
I'm glad they've called it caramel, because it looks exactly like a sweet in a sweet wrapper, doesn't it?
A caramel.
Yeah.
Now, this is one point, and the other point is, of course, that it has some beauty. This is more subjective, but when we have selected things that have some sort of mathematical content, some sort of mathematical originality, and some sort of beauty, this will be handed into great people, like a big writer like Jorge Wagensberg is a science writer, he's the director of the Science Museum here in Barcelona. People like, writers, and these people will select out of those.
On beauty.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the examples of the interactive elements of the exhibit. What do you think the Imaginary exhibition has brought to Barcelona, and why did you think it was important to set about bringing the exhibition here to Barcelona?
I think it was, the pattern is the same as it has been going on in the other sites, in the other cities, which has been, Barcelona is the 12th, well, in addition to the 2 that we had in the science museums in Madrid and Barcelona. But I believe that the main line that attracts people is that it's non-threatening. So it's a relation between mathematics and art, nominally, and then indeed you can see beauty all around coming from mathematics, or seeing the mathematics out of some beauty, paintings or sculptures or buildings. And this non-threatening makes the people love it, in groups or alone, and the interactivity, because then in the interactivity produces an experience that is very rich at the end.
I'm here with Mercedes Siles and Pedro Reyes, who were both involved in the Imaginary exhibition in Malaga. One of the things that struck me about Imaginary is the way that each city has made the exhibition their own. Can you tell me about what you did with the exhibition in Malaga?
Yes, we had this exhibition jointly with 2 more exhibitions. The first one called The Taste of Mathematics, and the second one called Parallel Universities Dialoguing. And the idea was to show the interaction between mathematics and cookery, and on the other hand to show that emotions are inside mathematicians and are inside people working with art, like chefs or mathematicians, as I have said.
And how did you make that connection initially between mathematics and cookery?
This was because we like very much mathematics. We work with mathematics, and on the other hand, we like cookery, and tasting food and so on. You know that in Spain is really important. So it's in our culture. Both things are cultural things for us. So they are inside us, inside our culture. So we thought that we should show that they are outside also. So this was the way.
And how did you do it? You worked with a chef at a restaurant.
Yes, Pedro and me worked with the chef and with the team, and it was an incredible experience because one of us gave an idea, and then the other one speak about this idea and explore new ways of doing things, and so it was really incredible.
So, Pedro, your images of the food that they created, inspired by the geometric structures, were beautiful. Can you tell us a bit about what the chefs created? How did they interpret the mathematics?
Desde el punto de vista de matemáticas, pues yo creo que se ajusta a la capacidad creativa.
He says that the chefs discovered that maths are in his own world. So we show them the images, and immediately, since they are very creative, then they started to think what ingredient to take, what shape to use, and so on. So he says that this is creativity is all over, and they discovered that maths were in the kitchen, so when they are cooking, when they are using the formulas, or even when they need to say what the needs of meat, of everything. So it was a really discovery for them to find maths inside the kitchen.
So you really did discover a parallel between the two approaches of cooking and of maths.
Descubrimos un paralelismo entre cocina y matemáticas.
Yo insistiría que en el proceso de creación, en el proceso de desarrollo es donde está el paralelismo.
In the creative process is a complete parallelism, as you can guess, because when loneliness to create something new, then when you are thinking about one idea you have in your mind, then when this idea explodes and appears, both are the same ways. When you want to get success, or when you want recognition, then when you are afraid because you have finished something and you think that you are not being able to create something new. So there is a complete parallelism in the creative process.
So I'm here nearly at the end of the last day of our conference with Andreas Matt, one of the organisers and coordinators of the Imaginary project. Andreas, we've sort of heard from people about what Imaginary is, that it's this series of beautiful images and this interactive software that people can use. What sort of changed in how you operate from when you started?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning we were organizing exhibitions. I went there to mount an exhibition. And then people asked if they can copy the exhibition, for example at the school, and we said yes, of course, why not? Just print the pictures yourself and you copy it. So we went over from doing exhibitions ourselves to coordinating exhibitions that were held remotely. So it was like supervising other exhibitions or motivating people to do their own exhibitions. And actually this is a nice thing. If you ask people, simple question, do you want to go to an exhibition or do you want to make an exhibition? If you ask young people or interested people, they would always say, I want to make an exhibition. The same with the museum. It's much nicer to make a museum than to go to a museum. So the whole idea of making your own exhibition developed into this, we call it a living exhibition or spreading exhibition. So in different countries, people just took our contents, added new material, did translations, whatever, and produced the exhibition on site. And
So where at the moment, can you give us a kind of snapshot of where Imaginary is around the world at the moment? Where is the exhibition at the moment?
I mean, it's here in Barcelona, just next to myself. Then in 2 days it will be open in Serbia, in Belgrade. there's a school project right now happening in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, and there are projects. And there's one exhibition in Coimbra, in Portugal, at the moment, and there's another project planned for Portugal, and there are projects planned at the moment in Germany, in Pakistan, in China, in different countries in South America, in Colombia, for example, in Panama, in Venezuela, and we just had a big exhibition in Moscow last week.
So it really is in all the corners of the globe now, really.
It's really nice also, the community. I mean, you have a lot of languages. We had just to do the surfer program in Portuguese, Russian and Serbian just in 2 months. And it's really nice how it's spreading. And then the good thing is that you have a lot of new ideas, a lot of new people, and this of course motivates you more. And then you have this kind of local ambassadors or coordinators, and they just take over the project. And that's the nice thing. I mean, it goes well with our open approach. And people would ask, yeah, but they are going to steal your things or what you cannot control. But it's the other way around. I mean, they always add new things that we can then reuse for other exhibitions. For example, we have a big, like there's a museum in New York. They're interested in having Imaginary, and there's another big science park in Argentina. They want to put something. So it's really nice.
And what you were talking about, you're trying to build a new sort of platform so that this process of sharing the exhibition and the contents will be even more open. When are you planning to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting. You are in the presence, and then the next step is not. It started probably a little bit before. So if you look, what will be the next step, and that's what we try to look a little bit forward. So we were doing exhibitions, we were helping others to do exhibitions. Suddenly other people are doing exhibitions and creating new content. So what is the next step is to open it up to all types of fields of mathematics, to all types of other exhibitions, and to use the core ingredients that we have, this kind of openness, the interactivity, the participation, to offer services for all types of modules. For example, next year will be the year of mathematics of planet Earth. And we're just organizing a competition for modules of a new exhibition where the content is related to the mathematics behind the climate system, behind transport systems, and people are called to participate, to create their own modules. There are even prizes, awards, and these modules will then go to many partner museums in the world. So the next step is exactly this kind of meeting point or hub for all types of interactive math exhibits that people contribute and then that go through our network.
So if someone's listening and they're intrigued by the idea of Imaginary, what can they do? How can they experience Imaginary?
I mean, there is of course the website with the virtual material, but I would always ask, I mean, maybe you just contact us, let's talk. It's always nicer. We can do a Skype conference or something, and then maybe you want to do an exhibition on yourself. Maybe you want to organize a surfer picture art competition, or maybe you just want to use the programs and send us your creations. Or if you're a programmer, you can help us. If you're a coordinator, you can help us. There's a lot to do.
So no matter who you are, whether you're a child at school, a teacher, someone just interested in maths, you can get involved in the project.
Yeah, I mean, we had birthday parties of 6-year-old child at the exhibition, and my grandmother also likes the exhibition, so it's fine. Everybody's welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, that's it for this Plus podcast, and I'm sitting in the dying sunlight of the day in Barcelona airport, waiting to catch the plane home, and it's been great coming to Barcelona and seeing the Imaginary exhibition and meeting all the people involved. If you'd like to find out more about Imaginary, you can find it on www.imaginary.org, and you can find out all about mathematics and art at plus.maths.org. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.